Hello dear students, welcome to Tungal online classes. I hope you all are safe and sound and doing well with your studies at home. We even expect you to continue the safety measures until this pandemic ends. I am Sanju sir, lecturer in English, and today in this class I am going to discuss a beautiful poem prescribed for first PUC, that is If I Was a Tree. The poem If I Was a Tree is written by Sri Moodnakudu Chinnaswamy and it is being translated to English by Rowena Hill. As I said, the poem is a translation. Basically, the poem was written in Kannada because Sri Chinnaswamy comes from Chamarajanagar district, Karnataka, from the village called Moodnakudu. And because of the name of the village, he is called upon the name Sri Moodnakudu Chinnaswamy. He has 2 postgraduate degrees in MCom, MA with Diploma in Literature and Social Sciences. We can see here he has a diversity of in his educations also. See, he has got 2 master degrees, one in arts, one in commerce, along with a diploma in literature in social science. He is director in finance in Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation by profession. So, being a diverse profession, working as a director of finance director in BMTC, he has even involved himself in different genres of the literature. Poetry is his passion. You can see here, poetry is his passion, but has worked in other genres of literature as well. Genre means type. Okay, writing poetry was his basic passion, but even he worked in other genres also. Besides having wide range of interest in culture, theatre and social work. By this we can say that Sri Chinnaswamy had a multifaceted personality. He has worked, he had interest in culture, interest in theatres, and he even worked as a socialist along with poetry writing and other genres of literature. He has brought out 24 books so far, which include 6 collections of poetry, 4 of essay. 4 of essay means 4 books of collections of essays, 3 plays and a collection of short stories. Since the poetry only was his passion, here it is said that he even has worked in different genres. The different genres are short stories, essays and plays. So, in overall, he has brought out 24 books so far. He is widely translated into many Indian languages and apart from English, Spanish and Hebrew. We can say any work is translated to different languages means it will have a great content in it, or it will have a great message. Only then it will be, any work will be translated to different languages of the world along with the Indian languages. An anthology of his selected poems in Spanish has been brought out by the government of Venezuela under World Poetry Series. World Poetry Series is a collection of books, or it is an anthology. Anthology means collection. Okay, World Poetry Series is an anthology. In that, Sri Chinnaswamy's works are included. Now, as I said, the poetry given to you is a translation. Rowena Hill is a translator. Basically, it was written in Kannada and the translation is made by Rowena Hill. She was born in England in 1938 and went to school in New Zealand. She attended universities in New Zealand, Italy and India. In India especially, Mysore University. She has attended plenty of universities in her lifetime. India especially, she attended Mysore University. She taught English literature at the Los Andes University in Merida, which falls in Venezuela, where she lives. It means that the translator Rowena Hill lives in Venezuela, and even she teaches English literature to the students of Los Andes University in Merida. She has published 4 books of poems in Spanish, as well as poems, essays, and translations in periodicals in Venezuela, Colombia, India, and USA. We can find, as Mr. Chinnaswamy was a multifaceted personality, even the translator is so. She has published many of her translations, poems, and essays in the periodicals of Venezuela, Colombia, India, and USA. In different countries, she has given her publications. She has translated some of the Kannada's best-known poets into Spanish. More importantly, it is to her credit that she has translated several literary works in Indian languages into English and Spanish. She has not only worked on Kannada's best-known works or best-known poets, she even has given translation of many different languages of India as well. As Mr. Chinnaswamy was involved in different genres of literature, she too has published some of the collections of poetry and has published some essays, some translations into 4 different languages, and she has published them in 4 nations. Dear students, we have a quotation here for you. Kulada neleyanariyade kulavendu padedadidare. It's a beautiful statement. I'm sure that you all have heard this already. If I ask you who wrote this, nobody can make a wrong answer that it is being written by Sri Kanakadasa. Dasashrestha Sri Kanakadasa has quoted that without knowing the origin of your caste, do not fight for it. And we have one more statement saying that Devanolilana Kulave Satkulam. One whom the God loves is of a greater caste. And I'm sure that you are very much familiar with this statement also, because it is given to you in your Kannada text, and this was said by Sri Harihara. Why am I showing this to you people? Why am I showing the same quotes on the caste? Kula here means caste. Looking into these 2 statements, we can say that since very long we have been fighting for the eradication of caste. None of the social worker or social reformers have defended the caste system or the category system in our society. And it even tells us that since long years we have been fighting for the caste eradication in our society. But unfortunately, even in this modern scenario, we are not out of the caste system and category systems. Every day or one or the other day, we will be encountering the cases related to caste and categories. Here, students, as in pre-reading activity, we have a question saying that, do you think that being a tree is more convenient than being a human being? Why it is asked so? It is asked that being a tree or being in nature is more convenient than being a human. And I am quite sure that yes will be the answer of everybody. See, it is because man is considered the supreme living being on earth. Yet we have laws and orders, we have police and military, we have rules and regulations, and we even have courts and punishments. Now we can say, if we compare these with nature, we cannot find any of these in nature, but we humans have all these. It is just because since very long years we have been following the caste system or the discrimination system for very long, and we even have built the borders and colonies into our society. Maybe that's why we need all of this. But when we look into the nature, when we compare humans to the trees, we cannot find any of this, just because nature do not discriminate anything. Nature does not look for the caste or creed or color or any discrimination, but we humans do. Maybe that's why poet here is wanting to be a tree rather than a human being. And now students, let us look into the lines of the poem and let us find how poet has justified his notation or justified his want of being a tree rather than a human being. Here in the first line, you can see, if I was a tree. If makes a possible notation. It may be a possibility. Okay? Poet wants to be a tree, and if he was a tree, the bird would not ask before it built its nest what caste I am. We can see the word caste in here. In the very first statement, he satisfies his notation of being a tree, because any bird that comes to tree to build its nest or have some shelter, it would not look for the caste of the tree. It would not look for the caste or the category of the tree. They just simply build their nest or take shelter in any random tree. But we humans do discriminate. Humans, we discriminate. We can see humans hating another human just because of his caste. Caste system, that actually is not a natural phenomena. It is just a practice of human being by himself. So, and compared to tree, no bird which comes to a tree to build its nest would look for the caste of the tree, but we humans do. So, in the very first statement, he satisfies his thought of being a tree. When sunlight embraced me, my shadow would not flee defiled. Would not feel defiled. Defiled is opposite for purified. Defiled means unpure. Nothing in the world permanently can hide from sunlight. And even without sunlight, we cannot survive on the earth. So, when sunlight embraces a tree, shadow of the tree would not feel defiled. Defiled here, it would not feel itself as it has been made impure by touching the sunlight. But in the other hand, humans feel defiled. We can see untouchability. We can see through our history that we have practiced untouchability, slavery, which two are the most cruelest thing that mankind has ever experienced. Here, when sunlight embraces the tree, the shadow of the tree, it won't feel defiled. My friendship with the cool breeze and leaves would be sweet. Here is the word friendship. As the sunlight touches everything on earth, nothing can escape from the sunlight, so does of air. Even air reaches everywhere. nothing can escape even from the air also. We many a times feel the presence of air through looking at the trees and the leaves in which direction they are flowing. Only looking at the trees we can find the presence of air. Here the friendship with the cool breeze is sweet, it says. But we humans have selections in making friendship with the same category, that is humans. We humans think, or we humans have some different selections in even in making friendship with the same category, that is humans. But tree makes sweet friendship with air, and it won't feel defiled when sunlight embraces it, and any bird comes to it would not ask for the caste. So these are the things what it gives, that gives to satisfy his thought of being a tree. Raindrops would not turn back, taking me for a dog eater. Here, dog eater means dirt eater. In Vedas, we can find four varnas. The last is Shudras. Shudras are to clean the society or clean the dirt of the society and humans as well. By then, as they started performing the cleaning the dirt of the society, they were started calling dog eaters or dirt eaters. Okay, in human society, we have a fourth varna, that is called Shudras, who clean the society, who clean the dirt. We won't touch them. We stop touching them. Here, raindrops, it would not turn back, taking the tree for dog eater. Raindrops, as sunlight and breeze reaches everywhere, even the raindrops, it just showers on everything comes under it. It would not turn its back, considering tree as a dog eater. Taking me for means considering. Considering tree as a dog eater, the raindrops would not turn its back. Also, when I branch out further from my roots, Mother Earth wouldn't flee shouting for a bath. In the both the statement, the notation is said that dog eaters are considered untouchables, and even here, when a tree branches further to when it branches out further from its roots, Mother Earth would not flee shouting for a bath. We can see in human society, when we touch an untouchable, or when we come into contact with any dog eater or dirt eater, we run for a bath, and we even doesn't want to show face to him. That's why we look back, or we turn back to the such kind of people, and we even run for bath, and we come in contact with such people. But Mother Earth does not. Here, Earth is called Mother Earth because Mother Earth is known for her patience. She has everything in her bosom. She takes everything in her bosom. She even does not run for a bath, and a tree branches out for growing. She does not run for a bath. Instead, she gives force to it. She gives little more strength to the tree to grow more. The sacred cow would scrape her body on my back, scratching wherever it itched. And the 300,000 gods sheltering inside her would touch me. Here, in India, cow is considered like a god. We worship cow as a goddess. It is because we believe that inside a cow there reside 300,000 gods. 300,000 is not just a number of gods. It is scientifically, it is the number of medicinal property it has. It is the number of uses it gives to the society, humans and nature. Here, a tree feels very much blessed whenever a cow comes to it to scrape her body. Whenever it feels itched, the tree feels blessed of its touch, because the 300,000 gods residing inside her would bless the tree. Whereas in other hand, humans, we slaughter the cow, we kill the cow just for its meat and skin. Okay. In the other hand, trees feeling blessed, humans are slaughtering cow for just its meat and skin. And that's why being a tree is considered more convenient than being a human. Who knows, at the end, happening to pieces of dry wood, burning into holy fire, I might be made pure. Here is the thing. Who knows at the end? What we have seen until now was the uses were the values of trees when it was alive. Even after the death, or even after it is cut into pieces, it feels that who knows? At the end, hacked into pieces of dry wood. Hacked means cut into pieces of dry wood, burning in the holy fire. Holy fire is nothing but the Homa or Havana we made. Homa or Havanas we practice in our homes, at marriages, at housewarming ceremonies, to create good fortune in the atmosphere. So the Homa is considered the holy fire here. Wood feels that even after cutting, even after the death, it may be hacked into pieces and may be used in holy fire, and thus it might be made pure, or becoming the bier for a sinless body, be borne on the shoulders of 4 good men. See here, becoming a bier. Bier is a stretcher kind of thing. You can see in hospitals where they carry patients or dead bodies. Bier here is a chariot which 4 good men carry on their shoulders. It feels that the tree is made pure using in holy fire, also becoming bier for a sinless body. When a man dies, he is not called upon his name, it is called just a body. It feels that even after cutting into pieces, it may be used in holy fire, may be used as a bier for a sinless body to bore on the shoulders of 4 good men. When a person dies, we carry him in a kind of chariot, in a kind of a vimana we made out of wood, and it is carried by 4 good men. In that way, it even after the death or after cutting, it feels it may be made pure. Why may be? Because he feels, if I was a tree is a possibility, so it may be made pure even after cutting it into pieces. When the tree was alive, it was of greater use to humans and society. Birds would come to her to take shelter, to take food, and to build its nest. Sunlight embraces it without any discrimination, without asking for its caste and creed. The breeze and cool air makes sweet friendship with its leaves, and the raindrops it would not turn its back, considering it as a dog eater or dirt eater. and even when it branches out to grow, the mother earth would not flee for a bath. Okay, it means if we were a tree, if tree is in nature, it is not at all discriminated. The whole message of the story is that in every aspect, when you compare these things to human has created himself, created a dangerous society, we can say. Here, as I said, cow is killed or cow is slaughtered just because for its meat and skin. It is the danger, it is the harm we are making to ourselves. So in this way, being a human is not considered so convenient than being a tree. As I said, this poem was basically written in Kannada. We can see the Kannada translation here. ನಾನೊಂದು ಮರವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ, if I was a tree means ನಾನೊಂದು ಮರವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ. So it shows the possibility that if I was a tree, ನಾನೊಂದು ಮರವಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಹಕ್ಕಿ ಗೂಡು ಕಟ್ಟುವ ಮುನ್ನ ಕೇಳುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಯಾವ ಕುಲ. The bird would not ask for the caste of the tree. ಹಕ್ಕಿ ಗೂಡು ಕಟ್ಟುವ ಮುನ್ನ ಮರಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕುಲ ಎಂದು ನೋಡುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಸಿಲು ನನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ನೆರಳಗಾಗುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮೈಲಿಗೆ. The shadow of the tree would not feel defiled when the sunlight embraces it. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಎಲೆಗಳ ಸ್ನೇಹ ಮಧುರವಾಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು. The friendship with breeze and air would be sweet with leaves. The friendship of leaves and breeze would be very much sweet. ಮಳೆ ಹನಿಗಳು ನಾನು ಸ್ವಪಚನೆಂದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಸರಿಯುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ವಪಚ here is a dog eater or an untouchable. Raindrops would not turn its back considering the tree as a dog eater. ಮಳೆ ಹನಿಗಳು ನಾನು ಸ್ವಪಚನೆಂದು ಹಿಂದೆ ಸರಿಯುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಬೇರು ಕುಡಿ ಇಡುತ್ತಿರುವಾಗ ಭೂದೇವಿ ಮಡಿ ಎಂದು ಓಡುತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಭೂದೇವಿ, the mother earth, she would not flee for her bath whenever a tree branches further out inside her. ಪವಿತ್ರ ಗೋವು, sacred cow, ನನ್ನ ತೊಗಟೆಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಮೈ ಉಜ್ಜಿ ತೊರಿಕೆ ಕೇಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ಅದರ ಅಂಗಾಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ಅಡಗಿಕೊಂಡ ಮುಕ್ಕೋಟಿ ದೇವತೆಗಳು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. As a said, cow is considered, or it has been worshipped as the goddess since 300,000 gods reside in her. ಪವಿತ್ರ ಗೋವು ತನ್ನ ತೊಗಟೆಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಮೈ ಉಜ್ಜಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದರ ಅಂಗಾಂಗಗಳನ್ನು ಅಡಗಿಕೊಂಡ ಮುಕ್ಕೋಟಿ ದೇವತೆಗಳು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಮುಟ್ಟಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದರು. ಹೂ ನೋಸ್, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನನ್ನ ಅಂತ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿದು ತುಂಡಾದ ಒಣಸೀಳೊಂದು ಹೋಮಾಗ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂದು ಪಾವನವಾಗುತ್ತೇನೋ. Even after cutting a tree, it feels that I may be used as the fuel in the holy fire. ಹೋಮಾಗ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂದು ಪಾವನವಾಗುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೇನೋ, ಅಥವಾ ಸತ್ಪುರುಷನೊಬ್ಬನ ಹೆಣಕ್ಕೆ ಚಟ್ಟವಾಗಿ 4 ಸಜ್ಜನರ ಹೆಗಲೇರುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. Who knows? It is a probability, yet it is used. When it was alive, it has great qualities. It has great uses to human beings and society. Even after death, even after cutting a tree, it is of great use. And with this, we'll end this poem, and we can come out the conclusion that social discrimination is the theme of the poem, and whenever a comparison is made with humans to tree. Being a tree has been more convenient than being a human being. Thank you.